The pendulum swings from the left back to the right. The best course of action gets swallowed in the fight. So let's join together, speaking truth, not a riddle. Relevant, healing, hope. It's the man in the middle.
All right, we swam in this morning and we made it. It was really an interesting swim coming in this morning. I'm driving a little car that I'm test driving for Jonathan Timothy over at Ozark Collision because he's doing some work on my truck, and I'm not used to having a Toyota Corolla type vehicle. I'm used to having at least a 1500 series pickup.
There you go.
That I'm riding in, and so this morning I literally swam in. It felt like that thing would hydroplane,
yes,
really easy. So, buddy, I was going slow.
I went through Marshall as well in a 1500, and I hydroplaned.
And you still can.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It was blinding.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was. Bad. It was. How about Tommy when
Crossfire just gets through it all?
Oh, crossfire! Crossfire! Anything Louisiana can make it. They know about downpours and flooding.
We had that conversation on air yesterday about sea level,
exactly,
and where we sit and what we're used to.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, this morning I'm joined by some interesting guests. This morning, my first guest that'll be on, and actually the both of them will be Jacob Granado. Let me get it right.
Oh yeah.
That's at Searcy County in me. It has trouble with anything but Horton, Raglan, or Treat. Saying a different name. Jacob is
There's no Louisiana comment.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit back on that one.
And Jacob is a recent graduate of College of the Ozarks, which I think is probably, if not the finest school out there, it is definitely one of the top 10. And so congratulations on graduating from College of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Very much.
And welcome to Man in the Middle this morning. My other guest is Michelle Buchanan. Michelle, are you there?
I am here. Is this what y'all call a toad strangler in the South?
Hey, we got a Yankee on the line.
No, she's not a Yankee. She's from Kansas. Kansas.
That's a Yankee. When you're from New Orleans, that's a Yankee.
Yeah,
Anything above Baton Rouge is hello.
It's that way here, too. Michelle, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
She sent me, she was going to be in studio, but she sent me a picture of her creek that runs by her house.
Gotcha.
And so she is.
I think she listened to the show last week and said, Rick, I just think I'm going to call in.
I think that's what it was. But Michelle, she's an agriculture instructor at North Arkansas College, and we're glad that you're here with us.
Hey, I'm an alumni of that.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
You're an alumni of a lot of things.
Well, I am one of those.
But he's not distinguished. He's extinguished.
Baby. I got paper says I graduated.
You took a class there.
And so you go ahead.
I had to send the pictures in. The instructor in me has to send proof of my excuse. So.
If you're going to miss class, you have to send an excuse.
I have to ask, do you have a type of an agenda in front of you with written notes?
I do, yes.
Hey, one teacher to another. I appreciate it.
Well, she used to be an extension agent, too, right?
She did.
And so that's some of that OCD is coming out.
Hey, I know.
Worked in research and extension for Kansas State University.
If I had notes in front of me like I do with my class, you guys would not stand a chance.
Well, we're not. I'm not sure he can write, but anyway, we're so glad to have Michelle and Jacob with us this morning. And what I want to talk about is, Jacob, when you were there and graduated, what was your major? What was on your heart that you want to do in life?
My major was agriculture, but
right.
It had an emphasis on horticulture.
Right.
So that was a little different, and I was the only student who graduated that year with the horticulture major.
Oh wow!
And being a student at College of the Ozarks, you work your way through, don't you?
Oh yeah, you do. That's why they call it hard work U.
Hard work U. That's right. And I noticed that in some of your bio on Facebook that you, at the end there or toward the end, you were working with the farmers market.
Yes,
that they have there.
I spent about 3 years there, so the majority of my college education I worked there with Lori Simmons. Simmons, and she's a supervisor there at the farmers market.
Yeah, excellent. And Michelle, you also, your big end of it, or I guess your major thoughts and heart is in horticulture, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a heart of background of agriculture. I grew up on a row crop farm with cattle, but I went to grad school and went and got my graduate degree in plant pathology, which is the study of plant diseases, and kind of just fell in love with horticulture and everything that you could do within that realm, the specialty crop side. At North Ark, we have a big emphasis on hydroponics and are growing that area, and horticulture is just a vast area, and it's really growing, and it's very exciting.
And so that kind of brings us to the format of the show that I want to have today. Is we're going to be talking along that line of their passions that they both have, and Skip has got some news coming up also, and in the last couple of segments we'll be talking about a cooperative that we're trying to get formed.
Vegetable cooperative. Vegetable cooperative in this whole region.
How about that? And have these two here? I think that might go together. All right. We'll be back after this short break. All right, we're back, and like I say, we've got a wonderful, wonderful show. Jacob, I do want to emphasize that you are a graduate here at Marshall.
Oh yeah, Marshall, Arkansas.
Yeah, Searcy County School Systems, and graduated with some honors. I remember you had little things around your neck, real pretty stuff.
Oh yeah, honors grad, and then I was also the president. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I always, as a former jock, I always like to tease you guys and say, "Oh, that stuff's so pretty," because definitely I didn't have any of that stuff. But we're so thankful that not only are you a graduate, but that you wanted to come home.
Oh yeah.
After you got out of college, and you want to do some things around here, and so that's just wonderful. I know now that you are married.
Yes, I am. It's been good.
That's good.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
How long have you guys been married now?
Just 3 months.
Oh,
so I don't want to hear any laughs. But
you didn't hear the laughter come from the phone, did you?
Oh, I heard it.
But that's wonderful, and to show you how smart he is, like he doesn't have one of these names.
Okay, you really went from being married to being smart.
Yeah, exactly. Show you how intelligent this young man is. He married a Horton.
Oh,
now so he's got it made.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just taken care of.
That's that draw back to Searcy County.
His choices were Horton, Raglan,
the
Treat or
and she's both. So
well, let's get into agriculture here, or we'll ride off into the sunset on that. Tell me a little bit about what your heart is and what you think you want to be doing now that you're home.
Yeah, my heart is definitely with the community. I think the community played a big part in my life when we first moved here, and just being accepted into this town, this small town, and it was definitely different than from living in the city in Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas.
Kansas. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll change that. I've lived here long enough.
I'm teasing. But definitely different.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And I feel like that's a big reason why I wanted to come back. And I mean, especially because of Elizabeth also.
Yeah, absolutely.
And her family's here, and my family's here. So I just want to come back home. Yeah. And hopefully do something here with the community to give back. Yeah, and I believe that those doors are soon opening for you that are happening, and things that we won't necessarily go into. And Michelle, you have that in common also, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And as far as the agriculture and what we can do with it, the agriculture degree that you have and Michelle's degree that she has and things, and some of the things that are happening, that are beginning to happen. Skip mentioned at the end of his show that an opportunity is coming, and will probably be here during the next growing seasons. What we're hoping for. When is that meeting you were talking about?
September 28th, and we're having it at the Farm Bureau office in Boone County. And it's not because we're getting it out of Searcy County. It's we are engaging the counties around us. Exactly. There's already somebody in Independence County that's going to grow several tens of acres, let's say 20, 30 acres of sweet corn, because we have a business that buys vegetables by the ton.
Yes.
and they're shipping it all in from Texas.
Right.
Well, we're saying, why in the world can't we grow it in this county? And so we've had a meeting here. We had a very productive meeting here in Searcy County. This co-op is going to be stationed in Searcy County.
Excellent.
The buyer is in Van Buren County, but then we're searching the area for other buyers because we're talking about 50 acres of sweet corn is what this buyer needs. 12 to 20 acres of broccoli, a few acres. And if we get the co-op big enough, we can supply this buyer with everything they need and then get another buyer.
What do you think of that, Miss Michelle?
I think that's fantastic. I continually hear the opportunities for specialty crops, for vegetable production growing, and there's a history of that stuff in Searcy County, and Jacob could allude to that with some of his goals and the things that he has on his heart. But we've got a history of that kind of stuff in the area, and Arkansas is a great place to be able to grow those types of crops and to really let it flourish here. So I'm excited about these opportunities.
And I'm sure North Arkansas College will be right in the middle of all of this. I'm hoping and willing to help in any way that they can.
Absolutely. We've been having kind of a focus on the horticulture side for a while now with our greenhouse and high tunnel production. In our greenhouse, we have hydroponic lettuce and herbs and different things that we do there. Our high tunnel is plasticulture strawberries. So, there's a lot of things that we're doing there that we'd love to add some more vegetables to the mix and kind of see what we could do to help with different experiences, different cultures, different types of growing conditions to be able to help the people in the area learn more about those growing conditions, see what works, what doesn't work.
Well, Michelle, if you haven't heard about it, it's mainly because we have just started this. This is breaking news. No, it's just ground level, and so I want to invite you to come, and I want to invite Mr. Granado to come and be a part of that. Share your educational experiences, share your research experiences, and help us in every way we can. And getting the meeting site and where it's going to be was the first thing, and getting you involved is along the way as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say right after she got done, if you're not familiar with hydroponics, I got introduced to it as an East facilitator.
Right.
It is an amazing process. If you're not familiar with it, I would suggest that look into it, because it's something that pretty much anybody can do.
Right.
And it's a great way of growing vegetables.
And we have it here, at North Ark going.
Yeah.
It's up and going.
Yeah, we have dabbled with it a little bit at Marshall High School, trying to figure out if we can do it. And I believe about the time Jacob was in school, there were some designs and some structures put together.
Yeah, there were.
But it never blossomed.
No, not at that time.
Well,
But
maybe Jacob can help us get that cranked up.
And it sounds like we have a valuable resource.
We do.
Right up the road at North Ark College.
Exactly.
So
absolutely. And we have an exciting new opportunity at North Ark. I'm really just very passionate about hydroponics, but one of the things that we were just able to do was to secure a hydroponics trailer. So this is a mobile hydroponics unit, so we can take what we're doing in the greenhouse.
I'm a big proponent of the East program there, and Tommy, of course, is the facilitator there, and I know that they're getting more involved to crank back up with the garden project.
Yeah, Skip, thanks to Skip.
Right.
We are, in the process of diligently trying to pull this together to where our Agri program and the East program are partnering to hopefully grow an acre of this broccoli that is being offered.
And that's the thing about this co-op is, as a demonstration agent, we're going to get this co-op. We're going to help individuals get it going. It's not run by us. It's going to be run by the community. But we're going to have demonstration plots around the county and around the area showing the different vegetables that are actually being grown by folks, the best way to do it, best management practices. And those are going to be located
I know we're hitting Jacob from every angle here.
He's sitting here going,
He's hearing all this. And Jacob, that's what I was alluding to about your heart's desire.
Oh, yeah.
So tell the folks a little bit about you coming into this room, hearing all about this, and your heart's desire of what you want to do, with a piece of ground.
Oh, yeah. So, I spent 4 years just learning about plants, and that's all I spent, and I enjoyed every moment of that. But being able to come back to Marshall, so really there's I feel like there's not as much in Marshall, but there could be so much more. There's so much potential in this county and the counties around us. And so I kind of want to bring a piece of history back. So strawberries was a big part of this county.
Yeah.
Whoopee.
There we go, yeah. So I just want to be able to create a place where I can grow these strawberries, but have families come out and pick them. So it's like family friendly. Field trips can come there, but it's also educational. And I feel like that's a big passion of mine, is the education purpose.
Exactly.
And just being able to teach others about things that they don't understand necessarily, but that they could, and it's so easily understood once you're able to be a part of it.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think those original strawberry growers here in Arkansas might have migrated from a place called Ponchatoula, Louisiana.
No,
Yeah,
you're as wrong as you can be. I'm fifth generation here, and it's all been Watts's. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing. But my grandfather was one of those, and several of the families, and I'm sure some of them probably did come from that area.
because it's huge in that area, and that's,
But it's
what they do for a living.
It is conducive, so conducive to some of the best. It was some old varieties that we had here. If you've studied the history of it, Blakemore was the one that was the known strawberry. It put Searcy County on the map. I mean, we had, I don't know, Skip, do you remember some of the mounts? Jacob, you may remember some of the mounts that used to be grown here, but it was hundreds of acres of strawberries, and there was a co-op at that time that's what the berry shed is there.
It's amazing to talk to those old timers coming off of Devil's Backbone Mountain down. Used to be dirt road back then, but you get down almost the base of the hill, and the trucks were lined up 65 and all the way out 27.
Exactly.
And they were all lined up down at the berry shed, and you had buyers standing up there, and they'd bring a crate up there and sell it, and you just had trucks all day long for
Wouldn't that be
days.
amazing if you could bring that culture back home?
Right.
Yes, and that's what
Isn't
I
that
want to do,
something?
because I love hearing these stories from people about growing up and being out there picking in the morning with their families, and I feel like that's something that's being forgotten. It's just going away in the past, and a lot of younger people don't know that
And
anymore.
with your ability and your education and things, I think it would be great if you could tell people how to get a hold of you, with these stories and some of that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be fantastic. So what's the best way to contact you about the strawberry end of it?
Well, I have Facebook, and it's just Jacob Granado, so that's just fill my name out.
That's
Granado
probably the best way.
Yeah,
exactly. And so let's start gathering some of this stuff up for this young man and let him, there may be a book in it. There's all kinds of things about the story, but also the fact that we've got a shot with someone that's got the heart for it, got the education for it, of bringing the strawberry back. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be wonderful.
And involving the community.
Exactly. Because me personally, I remember my grandfather's strawberries, and I remember the flavor of them, and I haven't tasted that in a long, long time.
So are you saying the ones you tasted from North or Fort Close last?
They were better.
Wow.
They were much. I will say, Michelle, they were much, much better.
Are you sure we can't get
but
you
there's
in
something
studio?
about. Well, she couldn't today because her creek was up. And the Lord wasn't willing, so so she wasn't able to make it. But they were better. But it was just the air that was helping them.
And the sweat.
And the sweat and the toil of the students of the area. But there's something about these old flint rocks that brought something to them, and it was just different. A lot of the ones that they have now, I know the University of Arkansas has done a lot of research and knows a lot of the history of strawberry production in the state of Arkansas and things, and they have developed berries that do really well now also. And so this just excites me, and I know my mother and some of those old timers like Skip's talking about are all just sitting here going, we got somebody that cares and is willing to listen to us. And so I just wanted you to be able to share that also. Let's talk about the College of the Ozarks for a little bit too, and what it's like. I know that you went there just 4 short years ago. What was it like stepping onto that campus? How did you first hear? Let me start it this way. How did you first hear about College of the Ozarks?
Yeah. The first thing that I heard about it was that they took your car away for the first year. And to be honest, that kind of scared me. But I was like, what college would do this? So I looked into it, I got some information, and I read the whole book that they sent me.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it, and I filled out an application my sophomore year.
Yeah.
And
Now
I just had it
listen
sitting
out there, young people. He did it his sophomore year.
I couldn't even send it in yet.
But he had it filled out.
But did you hear what he said? He read the information. Didn't go by what he was told.
Right.
Oh, no.
He researched.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
And go ahead, you started a family legacy.
Tradition. There you go,
Yes,
legacy.
ahead.
Yeah, I have a brother up there, Isaac, and he is loving it. He is involved in the community, and I think that's a big thing.
He's a social bug.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And I will, I'll take credit for some of that.
Well, I can go back a little further than you.
Yeah, you can.
With
You can.
Isaac, we had a little store up on the hill, and that's how I got to know this family. And that's been over 10 years ago.
It's
It's
been a
hard
while,
to believe.
yeah.
But I remember that Jacob would help in the store some and help me unload the trucks when I'd bring in some of the things. And Isaac worked there. He called it a job. I called it a entertainment time for Isaac.
Yeah.
And Isaac would entertain Miss Wanda and myself a lot, and so. But we had a great time up there. So you get there, you've done the research, you decided you're going to go, you filled out the form way before time, and you do get accepted, and so you step on that campus, and what is that like there?
It's a whole nother world. I'm not in Marshall anymore. My family's gone. So what am I doing here? And then they start you straight off into work. And because I worked the summer work program there.
Yeah.
And it is its own little world.
It is. It's own
it's
own little town.
Yeah,
it has its own post office.
Exactly.
Everything is done there on
Well, we've got to
campus.
go to a break, Michelle. I'll get you in here again here in a little bit, but we'll be back right after this break. All right, we're back, and I'm with Jacob. And you were mentioning the community that is the College of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
I forget how many acres the thing covers. It's like 1,500, or is it more than
Goodness, it's a lot. Like
Yeah.
right there on campus. But then we have facilities off campus as well.
that? Right.
They're
So-
building a new structure. I saw my
Yeah,
son
there's
lives.
an engineering.
My
The
son lives
engineering
that
building,
way.
Yeah.
was just finished
Right.
last year.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I saw construction again in the front part.
They are
the entrance.
constantly growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be building. I believe it's going to be a daycare. They already have one, but
Wow.
they're going to move it to where it's closer to
And
the
they've
road.
opened up what started the whole school again, too, a kindergarten through high school
Yes,
now.
all the way through. So you could go all the way through from kindergarten to
To
graduation of
graduate.
college.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they've opened that back up. And so then that also gives the students that are going into teaching and going into education a place that they can work
Yes.
and train. And so it's just amazing. And I don't know how many categories there are. Do you remember all that?
Oh, my goodness.
You probably
There's-
don't.
They have a catalog.
many.
Yeah, they do.
It's
have
not a
that
book
catalog.
anymore. It's
Right.
a catalog.
It is a
Yeah.
catalog.
Yeah.
It is a catalog. And something that I love to do, my wife and I love to do, is stop there at the Keating Center. Is that the name?
Yeah, the
of it?
Keeter
Yes.
Center.
Keeter Center,
yeah.
Keeter Center, and have lunch and
Oh, it's a great place
things,
to
and
eat.
and we're hoping to. She doesn't know this, and Lanita, if you're listening, turn your radio off. But I'm hoping for Valentine's Day to rent one of the suites, and
Yeah.
she doesn't know it, but I've already made reservations and things, and she will throw a fit when she sees that visa bill come
Hey.
through. But it's
Done is
worth
done.
every part. You worked there,
It
didn't you?
is.
Some in
Yes,
the
I worked
center?
my first year there.
Yeah, so you know how nice that is.
Oh, it is. It is a beautiful facility.
And you guys take wonderful care of,
yeah, they
of
do.
the customer when they come in there. So I want to recommend that also. But if you don't stay the night and do a romantic thing and that kind of thing, but do stop in and make a reservation.
Skip.
You have to make a reservation.
He
to
has
eat
set
lunch.
us up.
Yes.
Yeah, I did good, didn't
He has set us up.
I? And Michelle, you heard that also, right?
I I did. I was going to make Mark listen to it later on.
Okay. Good deal. We may just take a bus and go up, and all of us have a real good time up there. But it is fantastic. And the most wonderful part of it to me, from the outside looking in, is the fact that you get this wonderful education, number one, but also you come out of there, and how much debt do you have for your college?
Let me add this up. $0, I believe. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you're ready to go to work in our community and things, and you don't have
no debt,
all those student loans.
Kind of elaborate on that just a little, because there's people out there going, well, how did he go to college? What, did he get a full ride? How did he just come out of college?
And there's no such thing with that. I can tell you about scholarships. There's no such thing as a full ride.
Kind of just tell them real quick why you have no debt.
Oh yeah, you got to do something, and that's work. That's for sure.
So it's a work for exchange for
how much
tuition and room and board.
How much work are we talking about?
15 hours a week during the school semester, and that just depends on your position. Like, you may be working more than 15 hours. I remember just going back to my room and on top of school having to think about what's the next day's plan to do, because I was a manager at the time.
Right.
And then once summer hits, if you are accepted into that program, that's 40 hours a week, 40 plus. Yeah. And you're just going at it hard. But
ready and prepared are you for life outside of?
Well, just hear what he said.
That's what I'm saying.
He's managing a farmer's market.
It's such a big,
and taking care of courses.
Right.
It's amazing.
Exactly. And so that's what it prepares you for. Now, what's the motto of the school? What is the purpose of the school?
Yeah, it's really it's to educate the hands, the heart, and the hands, the heart, and the head. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
And its nickname is
Hard Work U.
Let's go back to go on. We've covered the hard work. Let's go into that heart thing. And that Christian influence that's a big part of it, isn't it?
It is a huge part. Yeah. And I think you could go to college and not get any of that heart part.
Right.
But the facility, like the faculty and the staff, they put so much into the students. And if you're a student and you're willing to accept that and take it, then you could just grow exponentially. It's crazy.
And also, those of you that have Instagram, I'm going to encourage you. I know I looked at some of your Instagram account and things, and some of the things that Jacob has written on there about our country and about his heart is on there, and you can read some of those things, and I was encouraged and inspired this morning. So thank you for what you're doing, and I'm inspired to know that you're here, that you're home, and that you're getting ready to take off and soar, because I know that you're going to do that. Now, Michelle, speaking of soaring, I know you're already flying once you get past the creek today, and
yeah, that's true.
and things, and how's things going getting ready to get started at North Ark?
Well, we are really excited about this coming year at North Ark, but just first of all, sitting here listening to Jacob, I was evaluating my collegiate choices about 20 years ago, and thinking maybe I should have done things a little differently. But and that is one of the things that I do love about North Ark is their C of O is great, and I highly recommend it as well. But it's not for everybody, and it's not an opportunity that everybody can take.
Right, and it's really hard to get into. It's not an easy thing, to get in there.
And so that's one thing I love about North Ark and what we provide for kids, that they can have the opportunity to get some college education and not be that far from home for a lot of these kids, and do it at a really reasonable price. I'm not going to say that all of them are going to come out with $0 of debt like Jacob did, but our tuition is so much cheaper.
Absolutely.
Average year probably $2,700 compared to $23,000, $25,000 at some of the universities. Yeah. And we do have scholarships. We allow people to stack scholarships, and a lot of kids get refunds every year that they can put in the bank and save for their junior year of college at the university.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too.
Thing.
He mentioned, the shock of stepping onto that campus there. I think there's 1,500 students somewhere in there.
Oh, yeah.
But think about the shock from Marshall stepping on the University of Arkansas.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. But you have this transition time that you can establish yourself there at North Ark and make that a lot easier.
North Ark makes that transition from that Marshall life to that North Ark curriculum a lot easier. See, you started a legacy at C of O. I started one at North Ark. I have a son who graduated in the nursing program from North Ark, and Luke, my youngest, graduated with his associates and is now going on to UCA in digital technology. So
that's awesome.
It was a great transition for those two and the people that they were. Tommy was definitely not college bound. So North Ark was the perfect fit for him.
Excellent.
And then, when he decided to go that nursing route, it was a great opportunity.
And the thing a lot of people may not remember about North Ark is it was established by a Searcy County boy.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Ben Baker.
Baker, yes, Mr.
Baker. He was from Gilbert. That's where he was raised, and he established that and saw that vision, years ago to have a transition opportunity for young people. Because before that, you went to UCA or you went to U of A or you went to Tech, and you got that shock of coming from the place of being
Some people can't handle that.
No, being a big fish in a little pond at Marshall, to being a guppy in this huge...
A tadpole, really.
Yeah.
Now, Michelle, I've got a question for you. I've not researched North Ark all the way through, but do they still have a trade school type segment?
We do, yeah. Our North Campus has all kinds of different opportunities, and they are growing all the time. And that's a huge component of what I think our education system across the country and what people are calling for. And even within the agriculture department, we're looking at how we can get some more work-based programs, training with work, doing the things that you want to do later on to help with the education process.
See, I graduated in '98 when it was North Ark Community College, NACC. Now it's North Ark College. So I've seen North Ark grow, and I've kind of been lucky to be involved in that technical aspect with Scott Howey. So I've done a lot of work with them when I ran the vocational center here in Leslie.
Well, some of these two-year schools have become irrelevant, but North Ark has remained relevant.
Exactly. Because they're willing to do what you all are talking about. They're willing to see the need out there and try to fill it.
I just recognize what Tommy was talking about. It's a two-year school that transitions kids who normally wouldn't go for a higher education.
Or can graduate them in a trade.
Right.
Within that 2 years.
Exactly. All right. I know our time is flying. We've got another segment coming up here, and we'll try to sum up what we've talked about in this little bit that we've been talking in these next two quick segments. But we'll be right back, folks. This is wonderful. All right, we're back, and we had an interesting break time that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Don't we always?
So it's rough on the host to get us back. Get us back to what we were talking about. Now we were talking to Michelle, and she had been asked about the technical end there at the school and how that they're working to get that. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is how North Ark College is evolving. Preachers don't like to use that term, but that is what's happening. That's what true evolution is and how they're doing to offer things that we really need. And like you said, you mentioned something very, very important there, that the needs of our society. You articulated it much better than I did, Michelle. The needs of our workforce that are out there, that we can put people to work in 2-year degrees instead of 4-year, and sometimes apprenticeship programs and those kind of things that are developing also, right?
Absolutely, and it's an adaptation, and if we can get people into the workforce
Adaptation,
quicker,
that's my word. All right, thank you.
if we can get people into the workforce quicker and trained better and not have to come out of college with so much debt and then not be able to find a job, then by golly, we need to do it. We've been looking into the needs of different areas at North Ark, especially within our ag program, and we're really looking into the needs of one specific area, and that's turf grass management. We've been talking to local and area employers about that. We've talked to U of A, and across the state and the country, there is a need for employees in the area of turf grass management. So we are working to do some program changes and get some things going in that area. And I'm pretty excited about what that's going to offer, and hopefully have more details coming soon on that.
Yeah, I know a little bit about what you're alluding to there, and it's all I can do to keep my lip buttoned. But
which is very hard for him to do, Michelle.
Yeah, she knows. I'm also Michelle's pastor, so she really knows. She really knows that I have trouble with that. But there is some exciting news that's coming along that line also,
which would be great for some of our locals.
Absolutely.
Kids
absolutely
here.
Right. So, turf grass management, it sounds like you're out mowing lawns, but it's really much more detailed than that. If you look across the area, we've got more and more PGA golf courses coming into the area. We've got, more sports fields coming in with the Naturals and the Travelers and different organizations, and those fields take a high degree of maintenance.
And at the university, right? And at the University of Arkansas now, they're switching to natural grass, turf grass, and things instead of artificial. And I look for, people tease us a lot at Marshall because we play on natural grass. We don't have a lot of choice. We don't have $750,000 to put in a turf.
We're just glad there are not rocks out there.
But just watch. In the next few years, a lot of them's going to get away from all of that. It was the greatest thing when I was playing ball, is to play on turf was the greatest thing. But we found that it's not necessarily the greatest thing to play on, and so there's all kinds of opportunities in sports and along that line. Well, we're going into our very last segment after this break. This just goes too fast.
Fastest hour in radio.
I hope so. And Jacob, I want to bring you in on this last segment again. And Michelle, I want to thank you for being on with me this morning.
Absolutely.
All right. God bless. All right, we're back, and I want to end the program here with
real quick.
Go
before
ahead, Tom.
You do that, I love just jumping in on him because people say y'all interrupt each other all the time, and Rick and I look at people and say, no, that's how we interact.
Yeah. But it's not interruption; it's interaction.
I really wish Michelle was still on the phone because I'm pretty sure that the president of North Ark College is a Louisiana boy.
Oh, I gotta put that in. Yeah, we'll try to do something about that.
and I had the pleasure of meeting him, and he is an awesome, friendly, very approachable gentleman to be the president of a college. You would never know it.
How long has he been there now?
I think he's going on his third.
Oh, good.
And I'm guessing. I may be off a little bit, but it's been about 3-4 years since I was involved in the technical aspect of the vocational center here, and I had the privilege of meeting him when I was the director down here.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Jacob, back to you.
Okay.
And again, can you tell the people how many brothers you've got?
Yeah.
And then tell them how many I've had.
Who knows?
4 brothers, and you've had all of us.
All of them, and they are awesome. And I'm going to tell you, your parents are top.
Yeah, exactly.
notch.
And that's what I wanted to talk about.
Wow.
I wanted to talk about his mom and his dad. I know that they have made sacrifices and that they have worked hard, and they came into a community that at a time that wasn't used to folks on the outside coming in,
for sure,
and especially with your Hispanic and background and things, and you guys have taught us so much.
Oh, awesome! That's great to hear.
And we are so thankful that your family is a part of our community and has taught us what a wonderful world there is out there.
Now imagine,
whether it's in Kansas, and I think your dad's background background's from Texas, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Texas and Kansas.
Right.
He was born in Kansas, but his father came from Texas.
It was so funny when I first met your dad. I got to tell this story and things, and I was trying to speak Spanish to him. When I first met him, and it was my hillbilly version of Spanish. Now, do you speak Spanish?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, neither did your dad for the most part. And so I went through all of the assumption that you have, and so I went through this trying to. I thought how intelligent I was.
It's going to make you look good.
Yeah, to do this cultural thing here that I was going to do, and so I go through my broken Spanish, and he said, "Rick, I was born in Texas." But it is, and you guys have brought some real salt and light because you are Christian folks.
Yeah.
And your mom and dad, like I say, have made some great sacrifices, and for you to be able to do what you're doing now and to graduate, and Isaac going through the College of the Ozarks. How about the others? Are they thinking along that line, or do you know yet?
I'm not really sure. I know they talk about it, but I guess we'll see in a few years.
Andy has talked about it.
Has he?
Yes, he has. Because you and I were talking during the break. I have his two brothers in the same class.
Okay.
So he and I can relate
It's
what
Andy
it's like.
and Alex, right?
It's Andy and Christian.
Yes.
Christian.
We can relate what it's like to live with them.
Yeah.
So
And it's a handful, but they're fun. They're fun.
that's why I said your parents are phenomenal. I have them for 45 minutes. They've had them for ever.
Oh yeah.
And they are, and they have done such a wonderful job raising these boys, and still raising the boys. What are their ages now?
Oh, my parents are young, actually.
No, not your parents. I won't do that to your mother. I know better to do that. You can talk about your daddy, but we can't talk about your mother.
My dad.
No, I'm talking about the brothers. What are the brothers' ages now?
Isaac should be 23.
No, he's
21.
I'm only 22.
Oh, he's Luke's age. Luke just turned.
Yeah.
Today's Luke's birthday. He's 20.
Yeah.
Luke and my son and Isaac graduated.
Yeah.
So Isaac's 20.
Yeah, he's 20.
Now I've got Andy and Kristen both in
I'm
the
just
8th
bad with
grade.
years.
So I'm gonna say 12, 13ish, 14 maybe.
That seems right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last I was around
See, I know his brothers better than he does.
Oh gosh.
The last I was around those two, they were little bitty guys, running around there, and it's just again
Rick,
such an honor.
Real quick, I know we're running short on time, but to have 4 boys who were heavily involved in a lot of things in school, you never ever got to see his mom and dad miss something.
Right.
They found a way to make sure they were where their boys were.
It wasn't easy.
They were there for all of us.
And it
All of
wasn't
us,
easy.
sure.
They made sacrifices. And so kudos to the Granado family.
Yes.
God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed our show today. Lord be with you. Give you a wonderful week in Him.